Let's move on to the number 3 seed. The Houston Astros finished the season. Okay, and we're going to talk more about matchups here as we go through these as well. So the Houston Astros finished the season with an 88-73 record. They also didn't play 162 because they were supposed to play against the Guardians, and that game got canceled. Home record of 46-35, a road record of 42-33, pretty even. But this is the one that I think is interesting: is the record versus teams with a record against teams over 500, 41-43. I think a big chunk of that was early in the season when they were struggling, but they also lost a series at the end of the season to the Mariners, despite having clinched the division during that series.
Right.
Because they only needed to win one game to win the division. So I don't know. I feel like the Astros are somewhat of an unknown as well. They've got all that experience. You expect them to be very, very good. But at the same time, though, like, they've shown us that they can go through really bad stretches.
They underachieved for quite a bit this season, and it reflects in their record. It reflects in how they got in this year. I mean, they were so bad, I don't think anyone expected them to make the playoffs at one point.
No.
I believe I read that quite a few places. So the fact that they're here is a bit of a surprise just based on how their season was at one point.
So one thing that's crazy is a lot of Mariners fans are looking at this and like looking at the Astros 88-73 record, and they're like, the Mariners went on a 1-8 road trip at one point where they got swept by the Tigers, lost 2 out of 3, I think, to the Royals, and then got swept by the Dodgers, I believe is how that went. It's like you go 3-6 on that road trip. There's a good chance you end up winning the division at the end of the year.
Yeah, a very good chance.
You're a couple games out still, but because you can get a couple more bounces going and some momentum, like there's a chance you win the division against the Astros. And so there was, and even there was one specific game where the Mariners blew an early 7-0 lead to lose 10-9 to the Royals, and that ended up being the difference in making the wild card. Because they didn't have the tiebreaker against the Royals because of that, and then they finished a game back of them. It's crazy, man. And that was in like July.
That is the heartbreak of baseball.
It really is. That's the thing, is everybody's like, oh, it's 162 games, but it can still come down to one crappy game in July.
And that's why every game matters.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. So this is your Astros team, and by yours, I mean whoever's listening. This is not my Astros team by any stretch of the imagination, or yours, Jason. I know that.
No.
Offensively, they hit 261 as a team in the second half. They had an OPS of 741, pretty good, 80 homers, a WRC plus of 111. They don't strike out, 20.6 K rate, and a 7.4% walk rate. They don't steal bases either. They only stole 29 bags in the second half. This is the thing that the Astros do, Jason, is they're efficient. They don't get on base a whole lot. Like, it blows my mind how few base runners the Astros have, but when they get on, they score. And it seems like every single time.
And it's frustrating to watch.
It is so frustrating to watch. I have never ever in my life watched a team where a guy gets a single. It's like, crap, he's going to score. He's coming around. Every single time I watch the Astros. It's absolutely bizarre. So they're super duper efficient offensively, and it's frightening how efficient they are. So pitching, though, like, it's a pretty dang good pitching. Team ERA of 3.34 in the second half. Let's see what else is important here. 20 saves and 12 blown saves. So Josh Hader had an interesting year as their closer. He went through stretches where it's like that dude could not get a save to save his life. Right. And Ryan Presley really struggled for a while too. It was like, what's up with this two-headed monster? The 8th and 9th inning combo of Presley and Hader, like, not doing anything. And then they go on another stretch where they're unbeatable. The Astros get to the 8th inning with a lead and it's locked down. And so I think part of what's going to happen here for them is it's going to depend on how Hader and Presley do in this postseason. We've seen Presley have really good postseasons, and we've seen him struggle in postseasons. Mostly have really good ones. But I think that's going to come down to it, is because the rest of that bullpen, though, is not great.
Right.
So
their pitching does scare me, though. Their
starting pitchers are great. Starting pitching is money. They're going to have to go deep in games, though.
Yes.
That's what it's going to come down to, is because their middle relievers have not been good, and if they give up a lead and you don't have Presley and Hader coming in, then you're toast. So, while we're talking about the Astros, let's jump down to the Tigers, Jason. We can look at this matchup directly. So the Tigers finished the year 86-76. They are tied with the Royals for the worst record in the playoffs, by the way. Had a home record of 43-38, a road record of 43-38. Their record against teams over 500, 47-50. They were 39-26 in the second half. One of the best teams in the second half. They were, like we said, they were all but dead in the water in the middle of August, and then they went on absolute tear, became the best team in baseball for 6 weeks, and made the playoffs. So their run differential is plus 40. That's the lowest of all playoff teams, and on the year they're 2-4 against the Astros. But they finished the season 7-3. 2 of those losses came against the White Sox. What?
Yes, during very rainy games.
Yes,
and I know this because I have a friend who lives in Michigan who's a very big Tigers fan and was sending a group of us in our one group chat pictures from the game, and he's like, they just finally took the tarp off after 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the White Sox suddenly became world beaters at the end of the season. I don't know how that happened, but I don't know. I guess motivation to not lose a whole lot more than 120.
And there is something to be said for having the momentum going into the wild card series.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, there is short series, best of 3, all in one place. So all these games are going to be played in Houston for this series, regardless of whether it goes 2 or 3. So here's some offensive numbers for the Tigers. This is just since the All-Star break again. A 234 team average. They hit 63 home runs, but they have a team WRC plus of 95. So their offense is not what's been getting it done for them early in the year, late in the year at all. It's their pitching that's been really good.
And I believe they just called up a minor league ace to be part of the roster for the playoffs.
Yeah. What was his name? Like Juba or something like that? I can't remember his name. You go ahead and look that up. I'll go through these. So they have a 3.13 team ERA, allowing less than 1 home run per 9, 0.97 home runs per 9, 8.04 strikeouts per 9, 2.36 walks per 9. So they're going to strike you out, but not at too high of a clip. But they're not going to walk you, and they're not going to give up a home run. I think that's one thing that's really important, is they're keeping the ball in the yard, and that's essential to playing the Astros, is keeping the ball in the yard, especially with the Crawford boxes in left field. 24 saves and only 8 blown saves. So the bullpen's been very good. The bullpen has been very, very good for the Tigers this second half. Did I get his name right? Was it Juba?
Jackson Jobe?
Job. Yeah, I knew it was Joe something. But
he was the number 6 overall prospect in Major League Baseball.
Nice. Hopefully it works out for him. And he has a good postseason.
Heck of a time to show up.
Yeah, no kidding. I hope that they don't I hope it's not like a shock to him, like, welcome to the show. Now go pitch in the playoffs. Does he have any time in the big league level yet?
I'd have to go to his baseball reference. I did not do that.
I could take a look, see. Oh, he's not showing up on there. It looks like he may not have pitched at all, unless I'm spelling it wrong. How do you spell his last name?
Jobe. 21 years old, 2 games, 4 innings pitched in 2 games.
Whew.
So
coming out of the pen.
He's fresh.
Good luck, fella. I'm curious at what kind of situations I'll use him in, if it's going to be like low leverage when you're down, or if they're going to bring him into high leverage situations. As number 6 prospect, you never know.
Yeah.
So we'll get into predictions later, but I think this is going to be a fascinating matchup, watching a team that has just been dominating with their pitching, and then a team that is so efficient and so good offensively that it's hard to beat them. But they can be shut down.
Yes.
We've seen them get shut down.